This is an update to Folktale! I'm Eustace the Monk. A couple of updates have dropped for Folktale, and I'm just going to highlight the changes in this review and let you know how they changed the game. So, it might not make a whole lot of sense unless you've seen my original review. There should be a link up at the top upper right of the screen now. Go ahead and check it out first if you need to, then head on back here. One of my chief complaints about this game in my initial review was that the citizens of your village were essentially all fungible and they were easily replaced. I mean, get a few killed by an angry bear rampage in the village? Don't worry so much about it. More on the way and they'll appear very shortly, and they're exactly the same as the recently deceased. They may look a little different, but that's it. They'll do their jobs completely the same way. With the recent updates though, villagers earn experience as they complete tasks and level up without getting into battles. Before, you could actually level them up, but you'd have to get them into a fight, which is kind of difficult. I mean, your master baker could level up by hitting a giant spider with a rolling pin, but they're not likely to survive to enjoy the experience points they've earned. Just as an aside, I'm going to attempt to fit as many master baker and woodsman's getting wood jokes as I can in this video. As your villagers level up, they'll get better at the tasks you assign them. So if they get stabbed by a goblin and die, their replacement will arrive in town shortly, but they'll start off at level 1, so you'll actually miss the experienced woodcutter because he won't be able to get as much wood. Also, resource gathering has been tweaked. Before, a tree would last several trips before falling down and clearing the way for a building or something. Clear-cutting woods to make room for new buildings seem to take ages. Now, trees and rocks fall right away, but they leave these little resource nuggets on the ground that the villagers visit, pick up, and bring back. This is really nice because you can plan your building by cutting out all the forest in a target area before you throw up any of your buildings. The whole needs system for the villagers has been done. Before, they all had needs that were broken down into a whole bunch of different categories like carbohydrates and meats and warmth and blah 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 blah. Now it's an aggregate of all the positives and negatives in the village. For example, you'll get bonuses for things like having firewood and food variety, and you'll get negatives for running out of firewood or having high taxes or being overcrowded or that kind of thing. The game adds them all together for an overall morale of the village, and it's a much better system which eliminates a lot of the tedious micromanagement. The biggest improvement in the latest updates have been in the campaign mode. Normally I don't enjoy campaign modes in RTS building games because they're usually too linear and they tend to limit what you can build to make the scenarios artificially challenging. But Folktale, it's totally different the way they're handling it. It's essentially a sandbox mode with a story attached. You advance the story by accomplishing certain tasks or after a certain amount of time's gone by. You start off as Sir Gregory with two nameless little sidekick halberdier types, and you enter a small village right as it's getting raided by bandits, and you fight off the bandits. Their buildings have been wrecked by the bandits, so they don't have enough food, and you build the village back up to replace the food that's stolen by the bandits. The campaign mode also introduces the dungeon system. You end up needing to attack the bandits at their hideout, so you enter a series of caves to grab their treasures. You free a little goblin thief from a cage, and meet one of the other main characters of the story in an actually well voice acted cutscene, which, let me tell you, in early access, that's a gem unto itself.
Enough talking! Your pitiful life is over and your soul will soon be another worker for the factory. Welcome to your eternity.
No! To enter the dungeon, you just click on the little signpost here. Overall, I think the dungeon system is pretty awesome, and I'm looking forward to more dungeon instances. However, there's some kind of rough patches right now, and I think I'd be remiss unless I mention them. First, some of the loot I'm grabbing is added to my inventory, but some isn't. Namely, none of the gold is added. You can see in the upper left corner of the screen here. It's really annoying for obvious reasons. It seems like objects and weapons are getting added to my inventory, but stuff like food and gold aren't. It's kind of aggravating. Also, the character selection process is a little wonky. You left click on a character and then right click on a destination like every other RTS. But both characters run to that spot. It's not normally a problem, but there's floor traps in the dungeon that are easily sprung on you if you're not careful. And this makes it tougher to get your people around them. I got the little goblin kill because he doesn't have hardly any hit points, and he ended up just running into a trap over and over again, and then he died. So there's that. All in all, Folktale is a fantastic little RTS village builder. It's just getting better with every update. If you enjoy building style RTS games, then this one's one for you, particularly if you just enjoy building up your base and playing defensively. It's not like some other RTSs that are sometimes more of a frantic race for resources, so if that's the sort of game that you enjoy, then you'll probably find Folktale to be a little too slow for your taste. But if you like building games that include a decent amount of fighting and defense, then Folktale is just right for you, and I still recommend it. You should take a look at it right now.
They gave me this pointy thing in training, and I still don't know what it does.